What's up everyone, DNA Liner back with another Warbots video. So today we're going to be talking about why modules are really important and what modules are best for your robots. Right now, one of the best modules you can get for damage is a nuclear amplifier. When this module is completely stacked up, that's going to give you 76% more damage. And if you put your resources into one of these, you can take this off of any robot and put it on another robot. So that is 76% damage you can put on any robot. You can take it off of one, put it on another. So this is movable damage. Now, if you're just to upgrade a weapon or a robot, the resources you put into that give you the damage or the durability are stuck on that robot and you'll never be able to move them. They're always going to be on that robot. But if you level up a module, that is movable damage, movable durability, and it can go on any robot you want. So that's why modules are so important. Currently, we only have 3 main modules that are worth running on most robots, and then there's a couple things like the Fortifiers that you might want to run on some robots. So we're going to talk about the very best modules, and then we'll talk about combinations of modules and stuff like that. As of right now, you should have 1 nuclear amplifier on every single robot. That will give you 76% damage on every single robot, so your goal is to get 5 of those and level them up. The next important module is the last stand. On squishier robots, if you don't have a shy drone that has the built-in last stand, on something that dies really easy like an Ares, you want to have a last stand on the squishier robots. It's like a life support system for a few seconds to allow you to either heal up or get some more damage, but last stand is a very nice module to have. Now let's talk about the Fortifiers. The Fortifiers are really good. These are shield enhancers. They will make your shield recharge faster if it's an energy shield, and they'll also give your shield hit points. It doesn't matter if it's an energy shield or a physical shield, it'll give it hit points. So if you're running something like a Dagon or a Mars that has a built-in shield, or even a Lancelot, these can be a huge help. Now, there are some robots where I would run 1 of these. There are some robots where I may run 2. There might even be some robots where I just run 3 of these, depending on what I'm trying to accomplish. But these are really good for your shield robots. So on some robots with a shield, you may or may not want to run these. That's something you kind of got to play with, because remember, damage and durability are very important, but so is your shield. So it's kind of going to be personal preference as to which robots you want to run this on. So the next one we're going to talk about is the repair amplifier. In my opinion, you should probably have at least 5 of these, because most of the time you're going to run a nuclear amplifier, a repair amplifier, and a immune amplifier, which is the next module we're going to talk about. Or sometimes you might actually just run a nuke amp and 2 repair amps. That's really going to be personal preference, but right now the 3 best modules are these guys, the nuke amp, and the immune amp. If you run 2 of these will work together and make your robot much harder to kill and heal you up and give you defense points and all kinds of good stuff. These are really good modules, but you do have to stack these up, right? They do have to stack up. Just like all these good modules, they have amount of stacks where they start off doing a little bit, and as you take damage or you deal damage or something along the lines of that, they stack up and then they just kick in full effect, and then you get the full benefits. Once these modules are fully stacked, and the more you have on there, the faster they stack up. But once they're fully stacked, you will heal some gray damage. You'll start healing yourself like crazy. You'll get some defense points, and these will just make your robot much harder to kill. Now, the immune amplifier, these are really interesting. They're going to give you more speed. They're going to give you more durability. And when these fully stack up, they are going to make you immune to things like lockdown and suppression, which is actually really cool. So once you hit 20 stacks on these, you will become immune to freeze. Once you hit 40 stacks, you're going to become immune to lockdown. And once you hit 60 stacks, you're going to become immune to suppression. So these are really interesting. They do all that for you, give you more speed and more durability. So some people like to run 2 of these. So the question is, do you run 2 immune amps, 2 repair amps, or 1 of each? That's really something you have to play around with. Honestly, I think if you had 1 nuke amp, 1 immune, and 1 repair on every single robot, that is a very good combination that you can't go wrong with. On the tankier robots, maybe you would run 2 of the repairs. On the squishier robots, maybe you would run 2 of the immunes. Now, this is the combination that I go with on most things. So if you really don't know what to run on a regular robot that doesn't have a shield, this is awesome combination number 1. This is awesome combination number 2. This will work good on the tankier robots, but the last combination will work great on the tankier robots as well. It's just something you kind of have to play around with and try different combinations of until you find the right thing. Now, robots like the Curry that I really care more about speed and durability, I'm going to go ahead and run the immune amp. I don't want to get locked down to the Curry. I don't want to get suppressed in the Curry. So running 2 of these will make so I don't get locked down, suppressed, or frozen much faster. It'll give me the speed, it'll give me the durability. So this is another really awesome combination of modules. It doesn't matter which one's in the first slot, second slot, or third slot. That really has nothing to do with anything, so don't worry about that. But 1 nuke amp, 1 immune amp, 1 repair amp, that's just an all-around really good module setup. Let's say you don't have any of those and you've got some older modules laying around. Let's talk about some of the older modules that are still worth running. I mean, of course, those are the ones you want right there. These are kind of going to be like secondary modules that I wouldn't work on getting right now, but you can run if you got some older ones laying around. Let's go ahead and start off about talking with heavy armor kits. So if you don't have the repair amps, the nuke amps, or the immune amps, you might want to look at some heavy armor kits if you've already got them. Those are really nice for durability. They're nowhere near as good as some of the newer modules, but if you were to run 2 or 3 of these, it would definitely make the robot much more durable, which would be good, but these are nowhere near as good as those newer modules we were just talking about. Now, cloaking units, these are an interesting module. These may be good on some things, like I wouldn't mind putting these on like a siren or a harpy, but these are kind of old, they're kind of outdated. They're not going to be one of my first choices, but they will be good on your squishier robots if you don't have any of the other modules. So cloaking units are kind of so-so these days. They're not really the greatest, but they can be used still. These will just simply put your robot into stealth after you take so much damage, and they only activate once. So let's just say you're running 3 of these, you'll go into stealth 3 times, and that's it. So they're kind of like a one-time use module, which I don't really like, but if you don't have anything else, they can be helpful. Now, balance units, those are another nice module, but the nuke amps, the repair amps, and the immune amps blow these away. I would only look at these if you don't have any of the other ones and you've already got these laying around. I mean, they're going to give you some durability, a little bit of damage, so they're nice, but you know, they're still usable, but they're outdated. They're not as good as they used to be. Now, there are still a few people out there running anti-control modules, but there's one thing I've never liked about these. You pretty much have to have 3 of them for them really to work. If you're just running 1, you'll be immune to suppression, lockdown, and freeze for a few seconds. Then once you get hit with it, and it activates, then there's this really long cooldown. You might get saved from being frozen once, but then the next guy hits you with it and then you get frozen. So unless you're running like 3 of these, I don't think they're really that much of a help. And at this time, you don't want to be running 3 anti-controls because they're just not doing enough for you when you could go with the repair amps, the nuke amps, and the immune amps. Now, when it comes to any other modules in the game, if I haven't mentioned it here, those are modules I just don't like and I wouldn't run personally. So we went over all the good modules and the ones that are still decent. But of course, this combination right here of nuke amp, immune amp, repair amp, that is like the ultimate trifecta right now. You cannot go wrong with that. You could throw 1 of each on every single robot and be awesome. So I think your goal is to get 5 nuke amps, 5 immune amps, 5 repair amps, and then start working on getting some extra immunes and repairs just in case you want to run 2 of each instead of 1 of each on some of these robots. So personally, I would work on getting those 3 modules plus a couple of last stands and a couple of fortifiers. I think if you have 3 fortifiers, you're probably good unless you're running a whole bunch of shield robots. Like I have 3 maxed out fortifiers on my account and I've never really needed more than 3. So 3 works great. When it comes to the last stands, if you were to have 2 or 3 of those, that would be really awesome. But this right here is just an all-around really good winning combination for pretty much any robot. I don't care what it is. If you've got 1 of each of these, that robot should perform very well for the most part. So I think that's going to wrap this one up. I hope you guys liked the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to drop down the video's description. You'll see some game news and links, some info, some ways to help support the channel. You'll see my Discord server, my other YouTube channels, and all kinds of good stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Lightning out. Have a great day. See ya.